To become a little unwavering, a little unstable, a little bit not so sure about what it is that I should do. This is when the faith of the believer becomes crushed. Elijah is no different. He's no exception from me and you. You can sit up in here all night and act as deep as it is that you want to. You can act, great God, as bad as you want to. You can act as though you got it made all together, as though you want to. That's your business. There is some projectile, some opposition, some obstacle that God will begin to throw at you that will quicken your attention. You see, every now and then we become so uppity in the spirit. We become so self-righteous. We become so bold. We become so strong. So we forget that it was God that developed us. It was God that cultivated us. It was God that transitioned us. It was God that gave us every good and perfect thing that we find ourselves having the opportunity to begin to experience. We come to a place in our lives where we simply forget. And I do believe, and even though the Bible doesn't suggest it to us tonight, I do believe within myself as I read this text interpretively and intuitively, I do believe that what God did was give Elijah an experience to humble Elijah, to bring him to a point and a place so that he can understand that I am the living God. And without me, you would be nothing. Without me, you would go nowhere. Without me, you would accomplish nothing. Every so often, what God would do is God would begin to build your humility. God would begin to build the very nature of things that is operating down on the inside of you. You don't ever want to get too proud around God. You don't ever want to get too haughty around God. Because the Bible says that pride cometh now before falling. And so I believe in my own interpretive, intuitive skills that what God did was humble Elijah. What God did was put an experience upon him that would bring him to a point and a place of brokenness, that would bring him to a place of actualization and realization, that he begins to understand, I don't need anybody other than Jesus. For whatever reason, I just came out of a war, but yet I find myself frightened by male wounds. You got to realize there's a contradiction that is taking place in this text. If you really begin to read the text, if you really begin to search the scriptures, you come to understand how in the world a man who just destroyed more than 404 prophets become intimidated, become so afraid by the words of one man Jezebel, because this is what Jezebel does. Jezebel intimidates you. What Jezebel does is she chases you down. What Jezebel does is she moves you out of position, because the Bible declares that the minute that this man of God heard from Jezebel, the first thing he does is he runs out of position. I came to tell the church, don't move out of position now.